for me? Wow, that's right. I'm Ma'am Karla, not your typical, but your tender-loving English teacher broadcaster. So, how are you? Oh, by the way, I saw your assignments last time, and you know what? I'm totally impressed. Well, I'm glad that you had fun vlogging while applying what you've learned from our topic. I could say that you really understood everything from our previous discussion about the different kinds of textual aids. Am I right? Let's see. Identify the textual aid presented and describe in each number. Number 1. It is a sequence chart that shows the order of a series of events. Is it letter A, flow diagram, B, Venn diagram, or letter C, fishbone diagram? It looks like this. What is this? Good! The answer is A, flow diagram. Number 2, it is composed of visual displays that have the key content information. Letter A, pie chart, B, concept map, C, graphic organizer. It is something like this. That's right. It is C, graphic organizer. Number 3, it emphasizes the connection between different concepts. Is it letter A, flow diagram, B, Venn diagram, or letter C, cause and effect diagram? Look at this. What do you call this? Yes, it is letter C, cause and effect diagram. Number 4, it is also known as the Ishikawa diagram. Letter A, flow diagram, B, Venn diagram, or letter C, fishbone diagram. Isn't this a piece of cake? Brilliant! It's letter C, fishbone diagram. Number 5, he is the Japanese organizational theorist who popularized the Ishikawa diagram in the 1960s. Is it letter A, Kaora Ishikawa, B, Kaori Ishikawa, or letter C, Kaoru Ishikawa? A bonus item, right? Yes, it's letter C, Kaoru Ishikawa. Wow, I guess you took it as if it's a no-brainer activity. You're really impressive, grade 10. Remember, textual aids are educational instruments that simplify comprehension of texts that use graphical outlines or images to give the general idea of a topic. Now, brace yourselves as we learn more about textual aids. Let's go! Cause and effect or fishbone diagram, also known as Ishikawa diagram, flow diagram, Venn diagram, graphic organizer. These are just some of the textual aids we studied last time. But wait, there's more! Another textual aid is a bar graph. A bar graph is a chart that plots numerical data using bars or columns that show the total amount of interpretations for a certain category. It can be represented with vertical columns, horizontal bars, or comparative bars. A bar graph is usually used in financial evaluation or analysis for presenting data. It has the following parts. Title, which tells us what the bar graph is about. Labels on the side and bottom convey what type of data is shown. And scale are the numbers that indicates the amount each block is equivalent to. Now, I want you to grab your electricity bill. There, you will see a bar graph about your monthly electricity consumption. Do you see it? Here is our monthly electricity consumption. In February and March last year, we consumed 140 kilowatts per hour. 200 in April, 190 in May, 180 in June, 160 in July, around 100 to 140 in August, September, and October, 80 only in November, 120 in December, and 160 kilowatts in January and February this year. With the use of a bar graph, we could easily track our monthly electricity consumption. So I could say that our average electricity consumption was 160 kilowatts per hour. What about you? What is your average electricity consumption? Again, a bar graph is a graphical display of data that uses bars of different lengths. Another is a pie graph. A pie graph is a special chart that uses pie slices to illustrate comparative sizes of data. The chart is divided into parts that show percentage or proportional data that matches the size of the pie for each value. For example, when explaining how I spend my weekend using a pie graph, it could be like this. I use 30% of my time for reading the Bible, 20% for browsing my social media accounts, another 15% for doing the laundry, probably 10% for eating, 10% too for maintaining self-care, girl thing, you know, maybe another 10% for sleeping or resting, and 5% for reading books. Now we have a pie graph. Notice that the more colorful your pie graph is, the better. This could help others to easily analyze your data. Be guided that a pie graph is a special chart that is divided into pie slices to show numerical proportion. Lastly, pictograph. A pictograph is another example of a textual aid that presents data using images. This is said to be one of the simplest ways to represent numerical data. Let's create create a pictograph about the number of books I read for the last 5 months. We will use books as a symbol to represent the number of books I read in each month. I started reading novels in April. So I finished 4. So we have 4 books in April. Since I had a lot of free time the next month, I had 9 books in May, 7 in June, 5 in July, 6 in August, and 2 in September. Oh! I finished 33 books! I'm a certified bookworm! This is a pictograph. Isn't it attractive? Look! It expresses a large number of data in a way that catches the reader's attention because we used an image to represent information. It is easy to read because all the information presented is available at a single glance. For us to better understand the use of textual aids, let's explore linear and nonlinear texts. These two are types of reading paths. A linear text is a traditional type of text that is read from beginning to end. Grammar and style are focused in this type. Examples of linear texts are educational texts, short stories, novels, and letters. While nonlinear text is not required to be read from beginning to end, since it is non-sequential. This is where textual aids like charts, diagrams, concept maps, and graphic organizers are used. In transcoding a linear to nonlinear text, we must follow these steps. Step 1. Read the text and get the main idea. Step 2. Extract necessary information for the visual presentation. Step 3. Remember to use keywords or phrases only. Step 4. Classify information into categories. Step 5. Make sure to use the correct nonlinear text to present the information. Oh! What textual aid is this? Very good! This is a flow diagram because it follows steps in sequence. Knowing how to transcode a linear to nonlinear text helps us to easily understand a composition since it gives emphasis on what should be focused on. Is everything crystal clear? Great! Now let's review! I want you to identify the textual aid described in each number. Number 1, it uses pictures instead of words or numbers to present data. Is it letter A, pictograph, B, spider map, or letter C, sensory observation chart? Great! Obviously, it's letter A, pictograph. Number 2, it is a special chart that uses pie slices to illustrate comparative sizes of data. Is it letter A, bar graph, B, pie graph, or letter C, concept diagram? Of course, it's letter B, pie graph. Number 3, it is a chart that plots numerical data using bars or columns that show the total amount or interpretations for a certain category. Is it letter A, pie graph, B, bar graph, or letter C, pictograph? I knew you know it. It's letter B, bar graph. Number 4, it refers to a traditional type of text that is read from beginning to end. Letter A, linear text. B, non-linear text. Or letter C, educational text. Fantastic! It's letter A, linear text. Number 5, it is a non-sequential type of text that is not necessarily read from beginning to end. Letter A, linear text. B, non-linear text. Or letter C, educational text. You got it! It's letter B, non-linear text. So did you understand everything? Really? What about another exercise before we end? Okay, this time, I want you to identify the best textual aid that we could use in the following situations. Ready? Game! Number 1. Armel is a young businessman who sells local ready-to-wear products. What textual aid should he use if he wants to monitor the progress of his monthly sales? Did you say bar graph? That's correct. Armel could use a bar graph to monitor his monthly sales because bar graphs are usually used in financial evaluation or analysis for presenting data. Number 2. What about Rose Ann, a loving mother who wants to determine the best learning modality for her child? She tries to compare and contrast online with modular learning. What do you think? Since Rose Ann tries to compare and contrast online with modular learning, we could suggest to her to use a Venn diagram. Remember, a Venn diagram examines the similarities and differences of two or more subjects, ideas, thoughts, or concepts. Number 3, next is Abigail, a daughter of television company owners. She is tasked to present the total number of television sets sold by their company in the last decade to their young clients. What textual aid will you suggest to her? Aha! Pictograph! Abigail could easily present the total number of television sets sold by their company in the last decade to their young clients if she will use a pictograph. If she uses TVs as symbols, she could catch her audience's attention and save her energy in explaining it, because the data could be understood at one glance. Number 4, Michelle wants to teach her sister how to dye her hair at home. How could she do this if she wants to specify the treatment procedures to her sister easily? Good going! Flow diagram. Michelle could use a flow diagram to specify the treatment procedures. Take note of that word, procedures, on how to color hair at home. Again, we use flow diagrams for concepts that follow steps such as processes. Number 5, and what if I want to determine the factors that affect the confidence of students in speaking when called to recite in English? What textual aid is best in presenting and organizing potential causes of their speech anxiety? Did I hear you say cause and effect diagram? You remembered! Using a cause and effect diagram, we could list down the factors that contribute to the speech anxiety of students when asked to recite using the English language. We used a cause and effect diagram to emphasize the connection between different concepts. Again, textual aids are educational instruments that simplify comprehension of text. They use graphical outlines or images that give the general idea of a topic. And they make our lives easy. That's all for today, grade 10. Always remember, learning English may be difficult at first, but if you put your heart in it, you will surely love it. I am Ma'am Karla. Heart your service.